is exactly what you and I always bring back any of these social political conversations to, is the comics, the stories, the realism that you want to try to weave into your content. We got Ralph, he's coming in, so let's break from this and welcome Ralph. Ralph, there he is. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
We
How are you
are
doing?
Oh, fantastic. I don't know if this is going to scare you off, but you're our first uh, indie creator to come in while Jake and I have been hard at work on our Turbo Pit Fighter or our Doom Mags #1. So we really want to thank you for being somebody that comes in and
We're
shares with us what they're doing,
Yeah.
and then even have a bigger talk. But welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yep, no problem.
No, I appreciate it. I feel honored.
Yeah,
Oops,
so
sorry.
usually Kurt and I would do some workshop time making our comic, and then we would film another episode where we were doing an indie creator exchange, and Kurt was like showing the person's work, and the person was talking about it. Sometimes they're there, we can see their face and everything. Um, and I was usually just, continuing to draw like I did in the regular episode. So now what we're doing a little different is we're just doing our regular
Ah,
production,
nice. Woo,
and
that's
we're just
nice.
bringing in, some interviews because Kurt can separate the files later on and make it into an episode of Indie Creator Exchange. So, folks, and Kurt will probably have to edit this out because I just had to explain this whole thing. But if you
It's all
if
right.
you're just tuning in, welcome to an episode of Indie Creator Exchange featuring Ralph Dix. Sorry, it's featuring, yeah, we have Ralph Dixon under God, and the question that we usually ask to start things off is bring us back to the beginning. Think about your childhood, your first influences, and what was your first awareness of the comic book scene, the comic book world.
And before you answer, Ralph, can you keep showing those amazing original pages of your art as you give your answers, please?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna draw along with you guys, so
Awesome, awesome.
if
Thank
that's
you.
cool.
That's
Um,
perfect. That's perfect.
yeah. Oh yeah. Just growing up, like first of all, like reading. I'm gonna have to bring these books out. They're like the old eerie and creepy comics from Harvey
Hell yeah.
Press, I believe. Yeah. I mean, it was like a long time ago. Like there were these old like horror, like sci-fi books, and Vampirella also. So I had a lot of that. That was a big influence. We would sneak in my dad's office and read those, and to this day I have every single one of those issues in mint condition. Just I'll never sell them.
Nice.
They're like old friends. So
That is.
um,
That's the source.
yes, yes, sir, it is. So that, and 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 also like and also manga and stuff, like all of it. It's a clash of all of that stuff. I like it all. I love it all. I grew up with both, with the American and the Western and Eastern influence. So I like it both equally. So I don't, you know,
Okay.
so I'm kind of like in the middle.
Yeah, fine.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So now tell us, like, was there an age or a year that you first remember coming in contact with Marvel and DC, which are like kind of like the for America anyway, the really the jumping off where it really penetrated the U.S. household and became a name,
Yes.
Batman, Superman, all that kind of stuff. You go from like the late 30s all the way till I would say the 90s maybe. When indies, or the 80s or the 90s when indies got on the map. But there was this long period where it was mostly about superheroes and stuff. So what was your like first encountering with that whole world?
I would have to say in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was in that era when the X-Men, the 90s cartoon came out. Like that was, I mean, my dad, he had the old like Iron Man, and all that stuff laying around, the Conan the Barbarians and stuff. Um,
Love to
but
hear.
I would have to, yeah, but I would have to say around the early 90s, late 80s, about that era
Right.
is when I got into the Marvel and DC stuff. When I really, got into the characters and,
Right.
you know, got kind of gravitated towards it.
Yeah, well,
So yeah.
you're definitely you're young and you're learning and you're getting exposure. Now, tell us about one question is, do you have any art training? And then you could talk about school or whatever, and then and bring us in towards like you're starting to make comics yourself.
Um, no, actually, no, I have no training in art. I just
Man. Whew.
self-taught. I just picked it up
Hmm.
because I wanted it so bad. And you just look at panels that when you're a kid and you're just trying to copy them and trying to understand like how do they, do that. So,
Yeah,
um,
well, that's drawing from observation, which is
yes.
self training. But both Kurt and I have both, like I'm an art teacher in a middle school all day long, and Kurt,
Oh,
worked with lots of different age groups, trying to give instruction to people that are looking for help to get better. But there's just this like phenomenon of people who can just like pick up a pencil and just start doing their own style. So bring us through like what kind of stuff you first started working on, and then like when you were trying to settle in on what your genre or style was going to be.
um, I let's see. Yeah, that's a good one because it's like I said, it's kind of a clash of all of the stuff that I like, and it just kind of, I guess, on a subconscious level, it just kind of slips in. But the manga stuff I really like. But but with the American stuff, what I like about it is, I mean, yeah, I grew up with it, but the storytelling as well. I mean, the different ways of how they tell stories here in the West compared over into the East. Like I do like the diverse ways of the approach of that. I hope I'm saying this. I'm giving the right
Well,
answer. I feel like I'm.
it sounds like it sounds like you're the generation that is kind of like inculcated on manga just as much as American comics as you're growing up, which is a big difference between Kurt and I, who are in our 50s. It was really like this whole Marvel and DC dominance, and then you would
Yeah.
see like other stuff like like movies, and other influences. But did you start off like drawing in the classroom when you're bored, or did you take that on later? When did you actually start making like sequential comic pages?
Shoot, man. When I was like, as soon as we broke into my dad's office, we just started. So they're probably about five, around 5 or 7.
Nice.
So yeah, early.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
yeah, I have my
And
copy.
yeah, I
This
mean
is the back.
that is important, like developmental stuff. Like those are only for you to see, really. But or sometimes people put them out, because it's a lot of fun. But if you trace that through your maturation, as an artist, and then your exposure to other things that influence you, is how you end up, where you end up getting to, right? And
Yes.
so what was the first thing that you actually published or had published?
Um, it's funny. Actually, Under God, yeah, I have to say that. That's my first book. I actually tried getting into slave labor, if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah, me too. I
I
tried
have my
tried as well.
rejection letter.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they said it was bad. It was that like we're such a small company, we only do
Yeah.
like four
Yeah.
things a year. But we really
Yes.
appreciate your work so much. It was such a nice
Yeah.
letter.
Oh, you got a nice letter.
Yeah, I mean
My
I'm talking about
letter,
the '90s. My letter was in the
yeah,
mid '90s, I'm sure. But
yeah, no, no, I freaking, I love the work in this, by the way. Um,
but
Oh, we'll get to
are you
that. We'll
picking
get
up
to
yeah,
that.
no, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like,
Not at
I
all.
know,
Not at all.
but,
Not at all.
slave labor? Was
but yeah, no,
they gave you a little opportunity?
well, they said, well, I was a teenager, and they were like, and and I look back at my work, at what I put. I mean, they're like, hey, the work is good, but who the heck uses the word, I don't know if you guys cuss on here or not,
You can,
but who the heck uses the F word this many times in every other sentence? And I look back at it, I'm like, yeah.
okay, so some commercial advice for you.
So it was cool.
Yeah,
It was a good memory.
fair enough. So you put something out. Oh, so you reached out to them, and then you ended up putting out your own stuff, and you ended up publishing it on your own.
Yeah, I just started, just, I mean, I still, love creating regardless. And I decided, I said, why won't I just do my own thing?
Yeah,
So it just kind of branched off from there. And I realized, like, there's like people doing zines, and also like doing the indie stuff as well. And I didn't, I realized there was a whole world into that,
So what you
There's
in that
people
whole,
just like me on the internet.
and
yes.
so you have you said it was called Under God, and what year did it come out?
Under God.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, th- last year.
Okay.
Uh,
All
2024.
right.
Well, you have here, yeah, 2024. It was towards the end of 2024,
yeah,
right?
I
Ralph?
finished
Yeah.
it then, but then I had to get the funds for it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now with the machining.
Right.
Um, but hey, oh yeah. Besides that, Jake, I'll be sending you a copy, so uh,
Oh, okay.
be keeping on lookout, okay?
Yeah, no
So
worries.
you'll get your copy.
Thanks. Yeah, no rush. I have a big to read pile, so no rush. Thank you. But it's
Yeah.
it's definitely appreciated. It looks like great stuff. I didn't realize that you're just kind of starting out in the last couple of years. So that I think it's great to look at the perspective of somebody coming into this now when there's like quick printing available.
Hmm.
When Kurt and I were doing this in the '90s, you really had to go through a company, honestly, if you wanted to get stuff, printed. I mean, we
Yeah.
both did that, and it was a way, to seeing your stuff in a comic store. Oh wow, how exciting!
Yeah.
But the availability of quick printing has changed the ball game, so that you can order 50 copies of a comic. You're just paying a little bit more for each copy, but you can put stuff out on your own, and you could go to a convention and table it, or you could go to a retailer and say, hey, you want to carry this, I like,
Yeah.
or you could sell copies, on your, out of a baby carriage on the street, like whatever you do. And we're going to ask, what you do as far as like social media and marketing and stuff like that. That comes a little bit after, but um, let's talk about your style.
Well, Jake, I got
Yeah.
this. One of my biggest questions is who's doing the printing for you, Ralph?
Oh, Total Printing Press.
Total Printing Press. Now, are you doing batches? Is
Yeah.
that sort of your mo, and trying to get a lower price point, and then you're selling them just right there on your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the only, that's the way I'm doing it, instead of doing the Kickstarter,
Yep.
because I just want to just kind of just swing it my own way. And
Yeah.
like even right now, I haven't been on streaming and doing that stuff, but I've been working on my own. I'm still working on the book.
Yeah, I mean,
And also, I have a new project.
we
Well, go ahead.
we hope that this helps. We hope someone's going to see this and say, "Hey, this is some nice stuff." I wanted to go over it a little bit more in terms of like the visual art. So take us through your typical process that you settled into. Are you're working on real paper, pencils first, then inks? What kind of tools you use, etc.
I work on real paper, yes, and I work with pencils. I rough it out, real quick, or I rough it out, and then I'm pretty familiar with the characters, so I try to go from there. But sometimes I'll have to go back. But anyways, pencils, ink, and then I erase, and then we're done.
And then what are you using to ink?
Or or I use Speedball right now. I have it open at the moment.
Speedball.
Using
So you're using
some Speedball
a brush,
calligraphy ink. No, I'm using nibs
steel
actually.
nibs. Okay, awesome. So you're an old fashioned but self taught. How about that, Kurt?
Yeah,
Old fashioned.
yeah.
Look at
These
that.
are my tools.
Right on. Yeah. So
Well, this is how I found Ralph, and I'm pretty sure I've been following Ralph since 2024, if not by the
Yeah,
end of 2024. I think is his inking is exactly what he just showed. The video came up. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Neat title card. I like that. I like that. Manga style there, and it's hand ink. And I think you even had, just like you have right now, you had your gloved hand with the nib pen. I was like,
yeah.
oh shit, he's gone old school. Let me check it out. And boom, subscribe anytime you're up on YouTube. I'm watching you do your thing, man. So
No,
that
I
that is
appreciate it,
that is the
man.
thing. Yeah, that's how I found you.
um
And that's the crazy part. That's the thing is like I've been watching you guys as well. So it's like vice versa. Like I've been watching you guys, and I was like seeing who's like in the indie scene, who was
Yeah,
creating, and I found you guys' channel. This is long before I even had my own channel.
right. I mean, we
That's cool.
create we create during our Sunday morning thing, but we also have been networking with so many other creators. Probably like a dozen, or like probably 2 dozen a year at this point. So it's so
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah, we have like
Yeah.
what Kurt? How many episodes do we have so far?
oh gosh, over 40. I think 40, 45. But we started it, I remember, because going back and listening to Jake and I talk about what was going on in comics,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, we would make some kind of statement, but it sounded so much like a question. And sometimes it was like that Jake would say, Kurt, is that how it is? I'm like, I don't know. I've been out of the game for like, 8 years. And so I said, well, why don't we just start inviting people on and talk? And everybody we talk to
Yeah.
just absolutely has their own journey, but they have so many different ways they can come about and resolving making a comic book. So
Yep.
that's the thing we love the most.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I, you know, looked for, that's what I was like seeing who was doing
Yep.
what I was doing, and I ran into you guys. I watched you guys several times and subscribed, of course. So yeah, it's really cool that now it's like funny. Like now I'm actually here on you guys' channel with you guys drawing.
I think it's awesome. I
It
think
is
I think
cool.
that's and it's a lot of what Jake and I talk about in our um, sort of like mission statement is it helps us keep on point and making a comic 3 hours a week now on a Sunday, but it also keeps this connection to a greater world of just awesome creators.
so next question. Who is your flagship character? What's your number one character, and what's the story?
I would say Seven's in October, Under God, and right now, since I can't give too much, but I can give it briefly. It's about Sevens in October, two characters from different times. I'll say that traversing the world of Primera, and they're dealing with the religion of Belamo, the moon god, and the cannibals that reside on the planet, and all kinds of crazy stuff that they're also going to meet. So, also the characters that come along the way too, because it's not only those two characters, but see, I'm like going off the path, but that's what
Do it.
so far that's what Undergod's about.
This is the path, actually. So you
Hey, Commandy, do you have any background in Commandy, Ralph?
Jack Kirby come in?
Is I'm sorry, say that again.
Jack Kirby's Commandy. Did you ever get into to that work?
Oh,
That comic?
some of his work, I've he always does the guys with the crazy eyebrows, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
I mean, I love his work because it stands out. I know who you're talking about,
Yeah.
Jack Kirby. Yes.
Yeah, Jack Kirby created like half of the Marvel characters. Did did um did did you have something that like what sets apart your character? And the name is what was it? October 7?
October. Sevens is the guy, and October is the Dragon Girl.
Okay, got it. And was that did you do that after October 7th in real life or before?
Oh, it was like way before. It was like years. Like this story, it's been in the making for like years until I finally felt it was right.
Wow,
You ever had that?
well,
It took 10 years or 20 years to finally, say, you know what, it's finally right.
yeah,
You know,
10 years sounds about
like
right.
yeah.
With Turbo,
It's like
it's been like 20 for us, there's characters sitting around that you make up when you're like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The characters. There's something I always say. It's like the characters they've always been around. They're just like waiting for you to get to where you need to be until they feel like you're ready to draw them. It's like I know it sounds crazy, but
No,
I kind of look at it like that.
Crazy but true.
Yep.
All right, so give us the completeness of what you've put out then. So it was only the one comic, and then was there anything else, or is that in production?
There's that book. The volume 2's out too. It's downloadable right now. I'm working on getting the physicals, which is very soon. Volume 3, which I'm currently finishing up, should be on its way as well.
So it's under
I'm
God.
I'm busting ass over here. Huh?
It's cool. So it's called Under God, and people can order a physical copy of number 1, and number 2 is available on digital, right?
Yes.
All right. Remember that,
Physicals
viewers,
soon.
and pick up this thing. Support these artists. This is a rather good one. It looks like from here. I mean, I'm seeing some like Red
Excellent.
Sonja kind of vibes, but that's probably because like Red Sonja's being published like 6 times a month now by somebody or the other. How are you on the sword and sorcery stuff? Is it something you just
Oh, I,
keep an eye on, or
I
have you ever worked in the?
I'm down into that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm down into that stuff. Like I like that kind of stuff, especially like the barbarian girls. Like I know, sorry. Because of damn, what's his name? And this is not right that I'm forgetting his name. Frank Frazetta. Yes,
yes,
he's a big influence in my work as well.
sure. All
Like
of
I
us.
love his
I
work.
know. Like how much you can learn about how he did his stuff is about as good as you can get in my book. um, but yeah, but it's also interesting to learn history, and
Yes.
he came from a line of other cartoonists, and so on and so on. So there's always a lot to learn, because if you get good because you're exposed to seeing some great art, well, what happens if you get exposed to some more great art then, right? That'll
Yeah.
that'll only add to your superpowers. All right, so Kurt,
There's,
Kurt, if you want to get into the next phase, go ahead.
Yeah, I that was my other question. Was definitely the setup you have, because you run a really excellent YouTube channel. In
do
in my books, Ralph, in my books of like not going like total land portrait mode, and then you got
yeah,
all that black space on either side, or they're talking like this, and
yeah,
you're like, what the hell? And so I got to jam it up to like 36 on the volume. So if they then put ads in, the next thing you know it, my neighbors are banging on the wall telling me to shut the, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So no, dude, you're totally fine.
So
And
we're
we just keep, as long as we have your voice talking
yeah,
at this point, I'm not and we're heading, we're more than halfway through, talking and stuff, because, the promotion part of it,
yeah.
I really just I don't have any questions because I thoroughly follow you.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you.
and I follow you because you are doing, in my opinion, strategy wise, everything correct.
Well,
You run a YouTube channel. You promote your book constantly. You update what's going on with your book, even when you take a hiatus, or you got work, or whatever it is. You have your own website. You're all in on being an indie creator, and comics is obviously a part of just being an independent creator,
yes.
and you're doing it. If there's anything you want to add, because when I cut this out, I'm going to put all the links down below in the description for your episode on Indie Creator Exchange. But is there anything you want to share, in the way, positive or negative, when it comes to promoting your comic under God?
Um, I guess I can start with the negative first.
Cool.
And I'll be honest, like right now, because of the approach that I'm going for, I'm slacking in promoting and marketing the book at the moment right now because of, it's like I'm taking a sacrifice to, uh, but it's a good sacrifice. It's a meaningful time. But right now, that's my negative. Like I understand I'm not streaming as much, or I'm not barely on because I'm dealing with, the schooling stuff and the machining stuff, and also, but I'm also working on the book still, but I haven't,
Yeah. Yeah, but I want to personally express something to you and anybody else.
yeah,
When you started posting the stuff about the machinist,
yeah,
I have to say, because I'm so locked in on you, I was excited to hear that you were returning to something that you're, I don't know, maybe equally, if not greater than, excited about doing,
oh,
in your life.
yeah,
And on top of, and I'm talking, this is, in my opinion, healthy promotion. You say, hey, going to take a hiatus from social media. Peace, see you later.
yeah,
which, which,
yeah,
which once again, do it, baby. That's what I say. I'll be like,
yeah,
hey, no problem. And then 3 weeks later, there's a video, and there's Ralph, and he's showing off everything, because you're still working, making stuff like that. You're
yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool.
I haven't
You know
given
what I
up.
mean? Like,
so Kurt, can I
and
throw something in?
go do it.
So, and guys, so when you're on social media, like the negative part of it is how the algorithms can suck you in to try to sell you commercial stuff or whatever.
Yes,
And but you can also like treat it as a Zoom call with a bunch of colleagues, and or just people that are working at the same time. Now, I was going to ask you, because you're balancing your work life, do you have a regular schedule where you do your comics,
oh,
and is that like Sunday afternoons and mornings?
no, like, okay, in the morning, that's like my work and study time, but sometimes it slips at night. I'll start studying programming at night, but like, um I try to where I'm doing, uh and I have to force myself, programming stuff and machining stuff in the morning, and in the afternoon, that's drawing, straight up drawing until nighttime, till bedtime, and then do it over again.
And Kurt mentioned that you're on YouTube doing that. Are you live streaming any of this on
No,
YouTube, or are you?
the YouTube
Oh,
stuff, I'm stepping away because it's like now I'm doing a juggling act now. Now there's literally three
I
things to
was before
juggle.
you had to study. That was
So
before you had to study so much. Okay.
I figured, if I just build it up, I build up my work, come back on YouTube, when I show up, because um, and on top of that, it's for a peace of mind. It gives me a peace of mind, like
Good for you.
that's why I step away from social media, because um, sometimes you just need a peace of mind. And I'll just say this.
All the time.
Yes. Oh, yes. Especially I do this stuff for therapy. I do my work as therapy and as well. This is,
Good for you. Yes.
like I like creating escapism, creating new worlds, and creating
Yes.
places where people can see what's going on in your freaking head. Like this is the vision,
And
And
you do it very well. You do it very well. But keep going. Keep going.
that's how I feel personally. And I think the last time I had to step away, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just stop streaming for a bit and just focus on the work, because I'll just say in quotations, a fan, I'll say, and I just say it sarcastically. They had to give me a piece of their mind, and tell me all the bad stuff about what they thought, but never brought up the characters or anything. Just had to, like, I'm gonna show you how to build a house, but here's
I
no.
don't build houses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
oh yeah, we know that. We know that character.
There's
we know
like
that character.
It's like, if I'm using a screwdriver as a hammer and I'm hammering a freaking nail with a screwdriver, and someone comes along and they don't suggest a hammer, but they had to give me a piece of their mind, but they're saying I'm giving you advice, but they don't ever suggest a hammer. It's just,
It's like the person on the road who's getting onto the highway where you are, and it's like they stick out halfway, like not enough to go, but just like to show you that they're there, and causing an accident right in your way.
yes.
So you basically had an individual take a critical amount of energy and time to express their opinion on how you're approaching their passion.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I got out of it. Yeah.
So yeah, and because there's a couple of individuals, I wouldn't want to lump you guys together, but I've seen them get viciously attacked in comments on how the work isn't manga. And how you need to, and then how you need to learn how to draw, and you should read these books, and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah.
And it's like one of the guys I've been trying to reach for over 2 years now. Now I think he does have, he's a bit outside of the socializing abilities, if you will. I can't be assured. I can't be assured of it.
Yeah.
But things indicate. I mean, I've even reached out to his mother through Facebook. But I find his work to be so passionate, and he just hammers these pages out and tells the story and go on and go on. And I watch these people make these asinine comments like they're going to ring any kind of truth or like change the bearings. And then I'm sitting back going, why?
Yeah.
If you don't like this, go away, move down the road to the next. But they can't, because, and this for a truth, you know what I'm going to say, Ralph, is they can't even do what they see.
Exactly.
And they don't. Right. And I have been attacked a couple times too. Now, the way somebody told me how to deal with it. And and this, I think, is the best way to deal with quote unquote quote unquote haters
Yes.
is you have to thank them for at least expressing themselves. I don't think you don't have
Huh.
to really oh, thank you, John. I'll take that. And you don't
Thanks
have to
for
do
that
that.
kicking.
Yeah, thanks for kicking me in the gut. And then once I would go down on my knees, you punch me in the back of the ear. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it, bully boy. I get it, bully boy. But this is the point. Take core feeling
Yeah.
in that you are doing something only 1 in 10,000 people are willing to do.
Huh. I never
Think of
thought
it
of it
that way.
like that.
That's no, do it. Now look, out of those 10,000 people, 9,000 plus want to make a comic, want to make a manga, want to be famous,
Yeah.
want to be rich, want to be noted, want to be cool, want to be. I don't want to be any of that.
Yeah.
I just want to make my comic book.
Yes. That's how I feel. I just want to tell my story, do my work, and people like it or not, that's fine. But I just want to get it out before I, pass on to off this plane.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel personally.
I just go ahead, Jake.
Do you ever you said it was therapeutic for you. Do you ever like take out what's actually happening in your real life in dialogue and in scenes in your
Oh yeah.
pages? Because
Yes.
I'm reading this book. Kurt, I don't know if you want to flash this on the screen, but I'm reading this book about Robert Crumb, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Not only did the guy like have this like visual art style where he's just throwing down what you're doing, steel nib ink, with a quick pencil sketch, and he's making these incredible cartoons that were like, the beginning of underground comics.
Yeah.
So he was sitting around with people and all of these like stoners back in the 60s and 70s and 71,
Yeah.
and he was just making comics about exactly the things that they were saying, things that they were doing, and he was turning them to like animal creatures, and he was having fun with them, but it was like so in the moment autobiographical. Do you ever like where do you get ideas for your storylines?
Pretty much from life, like a lot from experiencing life like that. People I've ran into, even other people's experiences and stuff. So it's like a kind of a blend of all that. Um, so I take the situations and try to implement them into my own, or apply it into my own work or situations, or in my storytelling, or something like, or even in characters. So
What
I,
kind of conflicts? What kind of conflicts do you write?
what kind of conflict do I write?
Yeah, who are the sides and the conflicts in your story? Every story has conflicts, I assume. Maybe I'm assuming too much, but
There is,
um,
yeah. There's like a lot of conflicting. Um,
like, is there a bad guy?
yeah, there is. He is, but also on top of that, I don't want to just be like black and white with it. I want to have the
Like
gray
he was a
tones in there.
deity or something?
Good.
With what there was like a deity or something?
Yeah, Belamo. Yes, he's the moon god, but he is pretty much the bad
Do you
guy.
remember the first
The
place?
baddie.
Do you remember the first time you thought him up? Like what you were thinking about?
Oh yeah, a lot of things that I did not like, and he's like the embodiment of that. But also,
Nice.
Thank you. That's what.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That's what
Yep.
we're doing with our
Yep.
billionaire family, trillionaire family. Um. So tell us about like what were you going through and what's in the comic if people could want to read into that.
um, like familiarity, kind of like because I don't know if everyone's gone through what I've gone through or certain other people has gone through, but I kind of want to just kind of give them the window to kind of look into that. Um,
Right.
but
So it like was it relationships or work life balance? I mean, an old boss. Some people, they have like people in their life that are like, negative influence, hangers on,
Oh yes.
sponges. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
Oh yeah,
whole accumulation
got
of
them
that.
all.
You
Got
know,
them all.
it's a
I mean, you're talking about people that are reaching out to you,
or,
in real life, So like we all come across these like frustrating personalities, and you could turn it into a story, right?
yes. You can turn it into a story, or even you can watch CSI stuff. I've watched some of that, and then after a while, I have to get off of it just to study the human psyche, the mentality of some people, and what they're willing to do, and why do they think that way. It helps in my future works, but at the same time, I have to step back because sometimes it blows my mind and it surprises me that how a person can go that far and why do they think that way. I have to step away from that, and
And so what ended up in the comic?
that's what ends up in the books because some of the bad guys, like a lot of those, they come from broken lives and things they chose. They didn't choose to fix themselves; they chose to be bad. But also, I'm drawing them, so it doesn't. But they are the embodiment of those things that I've accumulated over the years, and even people I've met, even things I've read, and people, all that stuff.
Ripped from the headlines.
Yes, from the headlines or in person,
Yeah.
you know, because you can read
Yeah.
something, but it, you can read something like, damn, that sucks. But when you're experiencing it in person, um, then you can get more in depth, and it's like, and some of that stuff is like, I remember that, and I'm writing it or I'm putting this into that. And sometimes when I'm writing or drawing certain panels, I remember a situation or a certain thing, and then it's just like, and sometimes I don't like going there, I don't like being there, but it has to be part of the story, it's part of the world, or else do I want to keep it PG-13 then,
Yeah. Are you familiar with like Robert Crumb and the stuff that he put out and the controversy it caused?
I'm not actually, I'll be honest.
Right. Well, we were talking about like he's probably like the number one guy credited with creating underground comics, and the like free ability of people to like not worry about censorship at all, regardless what it's violence or sexual stuff. But he
Yeah,
used to like his big controversy was honesty, like
yes,
how honest he was
Wow.
actually being in the comics, and like how disturbing that is for people, because it's like all the best and worst of a
So
person, like
if I can jump back in once again to support what I was saying, art is, if you're making art, not a commercial product. And I
yeah,
very much feel like the three of us are all in the same camp. We're not trying to pursue a genre and know that we have competitors out there.
exactly.
When you have somebody attack you,
Yeah,
like that, you're doing everything right
yep.
as an artist. In other words, you're being too honest,
Yeah,
and that scares people. It's exactly what Jake's saying, and it's what Jake knows is happening through the biography of Crumb's life. And I I think it is one of the fundamental uh, struggles right now between let's say being creative and wanting to be creative. And I believe that's a huge division
it is.
because, once again, going back to my 1 out of 10,000 people are doing exactly what it is that you're doing, you're going to get hundreds of people who are going to attack you because you scare them. You're doing something they know they should be doing, but they're scared to do it. And so, therefore, the best thing to do is to stop you from doing it. So
Yeah,
then they're no longer scared. And then, therefore, they no longer have to worry about whether they're living their true self or
mm.
yada, yada, yada.
Safety
You
measures.
know, Yeah. So once again, um, I am actually right now, like, I think I'm on page, I pulled my damn bookmarker out, which I was using your, so I'm actually trying to find where I left off, which means, you know what? I mean, and even after, to be honest with you, after this interview, I'm just going to start all over,
That's fine.
and anxiously wait for volume two, because the other than the connection to your inking, there's an undeniable honesty that you're slashing with ink out,
Yeah.
um and and I will say, until I got to when he meets October,
Yeah.
I was totally like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then I got to October. Where is this it? I think this, yeah, this is it. Yep. And so you're like, oh, cool, he meets this girl. I'm like, wait a second, is that a tail? And now I'm going, all right, now this has just got weird. And now I'm completely sold on it. In reverse to that, I think what happens is that people get scared of that. In other words, you take them on this, like, la di da di da di, I'm fighting baddies, and I got my bow, and I got my spear, and I got you da di da di da, and then I meet a girl with a tail. So, and now I have to deal with that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think it's an incredible example of being honest as an artist, and I don't want to say forcing other people to deal with it,
Yeah.
but in my book, I think that's really what all of us are experiencing, is that there's this super amount of creativity on different levels and such, that you know
Yeah.
people want to be vocal about it.
It's like Savage Dragon and this
This is
guy having the fin on his head. Like I write a lot of Savage
yes.
Dragon. I love Savage Dragon, and Savage Dragon. I forgot to mention that was like, and also a big influence in my upbringing on that too. I read a lot of that.
Eric Larson. Yeah.
Yes, his old work, like that stuff, like that kind of stuff. Like I had a guy he was trying to question me. He's like, why didn't the monster? He was giving me a piece, and I was like, he's like, why does the monster? How come he can move so quiet? How come he can do this? How come he didn't explain this and that? I'm like, God dang, let me just tell the damn story, shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think the counter to that is keep reading. Keep reading. I'm finishing up volume 3. There's going to be 67 volumes here, so just keep reading.
Yeah, just keep reading. And to me as well, I look at it as a journal entry too. Like the times I'm going in my life and all that. These pages are like entry levels in my life, like journal entries. So I know that sounds a little out there, but
Not at all.
they are like kind of placeholders or like markers of like, maybe I worded that wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're like a journey into what I'm doing in my life, kind of thing. Because I do want to hit 35 volumes with Under God, but also
Nice.
outside of that, I'm also doing another book on the side of Under God. It's with kaiju battles with giant monsters, but it's going with a Greek mythology push to it, though. I'll just say that storytelling approach. So, but outside of that, like being off of social media, uh, having fun. I don't have to be on social media all the time, but I'm having fun still creating. I'm still creating. Just because I'm not on doesn't mean I'm not creating. Um,
Right.
because this is therapy to me. Like I enjoy this, but when some of the fans are, sorry, fans, and I say in hard quotations, some of these people, they had to give me a piece of their mind, and I said, okay, well, I did this to have a peace of mind. That's why I went on to stream, to have a peace of mind and to relate to other people that are, that's into this kind of stuff. That's in the
Yep.
art, into storytelling, into creating. Even if my stuff, you like it or not, that's fine. But I'm telling you, just some people, they just have to tell you what they think, and you're just like, I'm just like, geez, did my book hurt you that bad? Like, geez, you know?
That's what good art does. That's what good art does. But
Well,
look,
yes,
and we're gonna be doing this again. So, and you're gonna be on our Indie Creator Exchange update reel,
okay,
which basically you'll start getting notifications from me where you can do like a 1 minute landscape video and just give us a heads up on what's
yeah,
happening, and you'll be involved with some other indies. But I think the thing we really need to get into is that you have a copy of our Turbo Pit
yes,
Fighter
I
teaser
do.
#2, and
I
I
have it
know you
right here.
wanna, make some critical comments and ask us why the hell we're doing what the hell we're doing.
Oh no, man, no, like I in my last video, like I no, I it brings me back to that whole like heavy metal, like that
Yeah,
whole era, like that whole 90s, late 80s era. Like I enjoy this stuff. Like, and the thing is, even at the level of work and the detail, I have it right here on line right now on my table. The level of detail you guys put into the work and everything, even the storytelling, like, and it's brutal. Like I always say, it's freaking brutal. I show it off to my friend, and he enjoyed it. He's like, "Damn, dude! Like, you got to meet these guys?" I'm like, yeah. so, so yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, this is what it reminds me of, that whole like that old school, like that heavy metal feel, that era when I was growing up at. So that's why I like what I like about Turbo Pit Fighter. So I had no like issues like that. I wasn't like, oh man, you need to do this, that, and this because this is your art. I feel like wrong in any kind of way because it's not in my place to be saying, hey. But if I seen something that's, then somebody, I'm like, okay. It's just like if someone drew Hello Kitty and came up, I couldn't be like, hey, that's shit, man. Fuck that.
yeah, right. No, good
You
point.
know,
Good point. You got any
everything has its
questions?
own.
Do you have any
Let me.
questions
Yeah, I do.
about Turbo? Go ahead.
Now, I was kind of wondered, like, is she? I don't want to say, is she like an Asian chick or a white chick? I know, like, I know that's stupid as shit, but I always like kind of wonder.
Jake. Jake's still there? We lose Jake's audio?
Oh, real quick, can I add something?
Yeah, go for it.
Um, now, is she in some way, uh, I want to say mutated, not like in a good, like, got certain attributes about her that you guys aren't talking about?
Yes, there is definitely um, superpower, and then there's glowers, and then you'll notice that some people have these like lines on their faces.
Yeah.
Where's a good example? And they're the ones that don't. So it's I want to get Jake on. I don't know what's going on. Let me text him.
Hello, hello,
Oh,
hello.
there he
Oh,
is.
there you
There he
are.
is. Were you
Oh,
Uh,
coughing? Were you coughing? Did you hear everything that we've been talking about?
no, we had some
well,
kitchen we had some kitchen noises here. So
oh,
Oh, okay.
uh, so yeah, in this future, there had been this event called the Mega Apocalypse. This really rich family, the De Hubertons, dropped radioactive gas on everybody, and for a couple of people, not that many, but for a couple of people, it actually made them more powerful, and that's just because of a natural um, predilection for
mm,
radiation resistance, but it also like turns her stronger, like like the super plants that grew on the Bikini Atoll when they dropped the nuclear bomb in World War II. They
yes.
came back to this island years later and they found that some species had thrived. So we're just kind of like translating that to this scientific sci-fi world where for many years, the human enhancement was studied and unlocked, and there was a couple of characters before Turbo that had enhancements, but in the time of Turbo, it's mostly just these people that just continue trying to become the strongest and most powerful and longest lasting, most enduring humans through science. And Kurt and I talk a lot about those kind of things happening in real life already.
Yes, very.
You
Yes, I agree.
like you have people that are harvesting their own organs because they're rich. I mean, this is all really going on. So, interesting world. And then by the time Turbo is born, it's like just a wasteland, and there's some areas where the humans are all on their own, like a road warrior society, and then the big corporation kind of fell apart after a civil war with their human soldiers that they wanted to eliminate and just have robot soldiers. And so no, there was nobody good on any side, and Turbo, the only real thing you can do for her to survive is to fight in pit fights and to win radioactive currency, and she's more able to tolerate it than other people. But in the future, the radioactive currency will be so important because it's not just money, but you could put it in the engine of your car or your air bike or whatever.
Oh, I see. It's got more usefulness, like almost like gold. I mean, you could
Right,
use gold for a lot.
Yeah.
the pellets are in these shielded peas, shape, and you can just put them into your gas tank, but they're also very valuable. So whatever.
Oh, may I interject? I have to say, for Turbo, she reminds me of China. Like,
See, yeah, I knew you. I want to see if
that's
Jake
what I
picked
want to
up on
say
that.
because
Nope, you're
I
right.
love the design of China. I love the character,
Yep, yep.
and that's what I think of China when I think of Turbo.
That's who I do. That's
I
exactly who
mean,
that's who I use as the base reference. Now Jake's a bit different.
really?
Jake, did you hear Ralph's initial question on whether is Turbo Caucasian or Asian?
Asian.
I said I wasn't really sure,
Yeah.
but her last name was Turvo, and that's a French or Canadian sounding
Mm,
last name. But of course, that could just be her dad, or her mom or whatever. But we just kind of build the story as we need to,
yes.
and we haven't really discussed her parents yet. It is going to turn out that her DNA was part of, an environmental experiment, and that hurt most people in the area, but a few specimens actually, got
Like a mute.
stronger.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Turbo's mom and dad get killed in the
I
first
re-
page,
I
so
remember that. That was
we just kind of we just kind of off them. But there's a lot of characters in the timeline, like before Turbo's born, that are strong females,
mm,
and there's going to be a super team called the Rectifiers. But in the meantime, we have this super team called the Casualties, and Kurt, I'm going to do something before we get off the air that is going to be a reveal.
Oh
I
God.
have almost 90% done the cover of the Casualties #1.
Whew.
oh,
Photo,
okay.
yeah. So,
That's
but yeah, our characters, we have them on this big bulletin board on hellclaw.com, and we started to do some amazing collabs. Um, we just have this 11 pager that I'm working on with Alex Turbin, and then we had this other kid named Sebastian make a 6 pager for another character called Pitch Blend, and so it's all coming together for Do Magazine's anthology #1, and now we already have a story for #2 all done.
that's what's up, man. Like, okay, I give it to you. You're on your hustle. You're on your grind, and and
Well,
that's what I like.
not only that,
Seeing
but
other creators like doing this stuff, and I don't feel like I'm alone, doing
You're
this.
not.
I
You're
don't
not.
feel crazy.
You're not.
and
That's cool.
you should also check out Kurt's side hustle off the main hustle. He's been doing
Oh,
this
that's cool.
for the sword and sorcery
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I checked that out. I like that cover.
So Kurt has been able to like curate this network of contributors, and they all plug their own stuff, but they all come together and make a Crom story. And so he has this
Oh, that's
really
a nice book.
oversized volume. Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
pages is that? It looks
This is
pretty meaty.
256.
Oh, dude.
But 50 something of it, it's this 2-page. I gave 36 artists a double page spread where you get a QR code that you can come over and scan and find out more about them. And
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
the whole gist of it is curated, like Jake said, but it doesn't have to be just Crom stories. It's Crom centric or sword and sorcery. But just like Heavy Metal and Savage Sword and Conan, you end up walking away at some point going, "Oh, I got to do my own thing. Like I got this story, blah 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 blah." You pull that off and everything. But yeah, so
I like that.
yeah, and then this I just pulled out a bunch of. I have the last 10 pages to start inking for Turbo Pit Fighter, but this is my cover for the Doom anthology, Doom Mag's anthology #1, End of the World Timeline. And she's totally templated off of a very young China. So, so I know exactly where you're coming from. And when you were doing the sketch cards,
Yeah.
did you bring up China? I can't remember. I think you brought
I
her
might have
up.
talked. Yeah, I talked about
I
her.
think you did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this kindred spirit kind of stuff going on now. This is great. But we're
Jake,
gonna
you're
let
getting
you.
yours.
Yeah, and we're gonna go ahead and let you go. But before we do let you go, we want to let you give what where to find you, what you're working on. Totally plug and say what you will.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can. I'll just. You can follow me at Angels of Renaissance 7s_October on YouTube, and you can also on X and Instagram. If anything, you can message me if anything. Also, you can get my book Under God, Volume 1 and 2, soon to be 3, at angelsoftherenaissance.com. So there you go.
Awesome. Jake, do you have anything for this young man before we let him go?
No, just to keep in touch. We're not a one and done. And
Yep.
Yeah.
if you're ever doing your weekly work, and you're around Sunday mornings, you could shoot us a comment, say hi anytime, and listen in or call in or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. Be in touch, and really like what you're doing.
Also, one last thing.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with IC3, the Indie Comic Con, Indie Creator Comic Con out in Providence, Rhode Island?
No.
I'm going to send you a link in about 20 minutes
Okay.
through Instagram. Would love to meet you. Would love to hang out with you at this con. Jake and I did it last year. Super awesome con for just indie comic book creators.
Yeah. That's up my alley.
All right. So, but other than that, Ralph, just like Jake says, this is not one and done. You're a part of the us, the indie creators that Jake and I are at least trying to hold one corner,
and you guys are holding the line.
like-minded. Well, I think of it as more as like we're one quarter of the foundation, and the people who resonate with us and hang out with us. Which once again, got to thank everybody over on our YouTube live stream that's been definitely working on their comics. If not just getting inspired. And then the after show, thank you, Travis. And yeah, would
Yeah,
would
we have a
totally
couple
totally look
people
forward
that
to
have
it.
their own Substack that are pretty regular in the comments, and so they put their stuff on Substack all the time. So just a lot of shout outs and cross pollination because there's some really good creators that out there. And when you go to a con nowadays, everybody's like supporting each other, but you're actually saving like hundreds of dollars on shipping stuff to people and from people if you're at a con. So that's why it's really good. You can just hand off copies of your work to other
Yes,
people, and
more
you can
personal.
trade for their stuff, or you can or or else maybe make some cash. So stay in the game and keep up the good work, man.
That's a good way of networking as well. And on top of that, too, if you guys, if we can be on again, and next time if I'm not having camera issues, I'd like to draw with you guys because
Absolutely.
I feel bad on my part for,
Not
you
at
know,
all. Not at all. I'm going to send you a little tech support on coming in at a lower reds. And
okay,
so next, it'll be just a lot easier because we've already been piping along at
yeah,
our 720 and we're live streaming. And so you coming in, like almost 2 hours later,
Coming in hot.
it's just coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Coming in hot.
I see.
But totally, totally, totally.
Yeah, we could
Thank
make
you for
up for
stopping
it.
by. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we
just the
we want to
beginning.
knock a G off the 5G, make it 10G.
Right next to the tower.
Right, 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 right. Good.
But
We all have to be there.
I appreciate you guys having me on for real. And but yeah, next time I'd like to, to draw with you guys.
All right, with
Yeah.
Ralph, we're going to let you get going because Jake and I got to wrap up our little show here. And we are definitely going to stay in touch and we're going to
Yes.
be hanging out, drawing again.
All right. Thank you for having me, Jake, and thank you, Kurt.
You're welcome.
And
No problem, man. Good meeting you, and
yes,
peace out, man. Do some good stuff.
thank you guys. And you guys keep
All
it
right.
strong, keep it going, and I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, you guys.